If you need to generate more local traffic for your small business and you're considering using Facebook ads to do so, then you are at the right video, as I've invested over $35 million in paid social ads over the last 5 years, working with brands as big as Whole Foods, for example, but also working with local businesses such as dance studios, mechanic shops, and coffee shops and restaurants of sorts. So in this video, I want to give you both the strategies that you need to use to be effective, but I also want to walk you step by step through all of the key parts of the process of setting up your campaign. So that's all coming up right now. Welcome back to Market and Hustle. My name is Zaryn, and if this is your first time here, you should consider subscribing, as we frequently publish videos designed to simplify marketing so that you can accelerate your business growth. So first and foremost, Facebook is phenomenal to drive local store traffic for businesses because of the amount of users that are on the platform. They have the highest penetration. Facebook over 2 billion, Instagram over 1 billion. So collectively, that helps you get cost efficiency when you're running your localized ads. Now, the second thing is that Facebook sits on a massive data set and their targeting capabilities are quite robust. And then lastly, the mindset of consumers. They're often, when they're using these platforms, they're consuming content, they're on their leisure time, so they're in a discovery mindset. So it's the combination of these things which set it up for you to be really effective to advertise on these platforms. Now, there's a lot of different types of businesses that can benefit from running a campaign on Facebook and Instagram, whether you're a restaurant, a dine-in, a classic dine-in or a traditional dine-in or a quick service restaurant, a coffee shop or a local cafe, a salon, a barber shop, a mechanic shop, dance and performance arts facility as well can really be effective at driving local traffic on Facebook. So the way I want to break down this video for you guys is, first and foremost, I want to give you the 3 key pillars that you need to be successful when running local campaigns on Facebook. But then I want to go deeper and actually show you 2 examples that we're going to build. One is more of a simple example using a restaurant, and the other one is going to be more of a complex purchase decision using a dance or performance art studio. So right now we are in Facebook Ads Manager, and this is the first stage when you start to build a campaign. And you have these options, and Facebook says basically, what's your marketing objective? Is it reach? Is it brand awareness? Is it reach? Is it traffic? Is it conversions? Is it store traffic? Now, store traffic usually is used for a small business or big business regardless that has physical stores, but they have to have multiple locations. So if you only have one single location, this might not necessarily even make sense to you. And in the past, I've worked with large advertisers such as Whole Foods that had over 500 locations, and this made a lot of sense for them. However, there are other types of objectives that you can be using to be effective. And what I want to do in the next slide is actually walk you through some of the scenarios of how I strategize which objective makes sense for your business. So the first thing I ask is this service that you're offering something that customers typically book online? So for example, going to a restaurant, that's something that you potentially book online, or hair appointment, whereas going to a coffee shop, necessarily you wouldn't book an appointment for that. So I say, do you have a website? And if the answer is yes, the next question I have is, can customers book online? Now, if the answer is no to not having a website, then I just simply ask, can someone call or message you to book? Is that a common thing for your business? And again, this is all helping us figure out what the right objective is. So if you do have a website and people can book online, then the right objective to use would be a conversion campaign with the CTA of book now, so you can optimize for people most likely to land on your website and then take that action. Now, if customers cannot book online, maybe we would just do a traffic campaign to your contact page or your services page, but we still might put the CTA book now, because then someone would be able to potentially call you after they land on your website. Now, if you don't have a website, but people could still call in and actually, make an appointment over the phone. Hello. And now what I want to do is optimize that campaign for reach, because then I can use the CTA button of call now or contact us, which can work. Now, in the situation that you had maybe a more complex type of booking, I might want to send a message. I might want to do a message objective instead of a reach or a call now or contact us. And then the last thing is that if someone can't book over the phone, or it just is a service where it doesn't make sense to have someone book, like again, a coffee shop, you'd want walk-in traffic, you wouldn't necessarily need someone to book, then you would just want to do the reach objective so that you can maximize your delivery against everyone who's in your target audience. And you might want to do like a get directions button or a contact us button, for example. Now, the second pillar that I like to focus on when setting up a local traffic campaign is the audience. And the important part here about the audience is it has to be definable and a sizable audience that we can target against. So for example, college students within a 5-mile radius. That is actually something that we can build in Facebook, and in a couple of the future slides, we're actually going to dive into that. Another example is parents with kids 8 to 12 who like dance and theater. These are definable audiences that we can go and target against. So that's the first part. You have to be very clear on who your core audience is. You can't just say it's everybody, because then that's a perfect way for you to lose a lot of your money. Now, the next thing that's super important, and this is now your third pillar, is your offer. You need to give people an incentive that creates urgency for them to come to your business. Now, I want to give you an example of what a good offer looks like. So 50% off drinks from 5 to 7 p.m. Maybe you're a restaurant, maybe you're a bar. That could be a great special to incentivize people to walk in. Another example is if you buy a coffee and you get a pastry. And maybe you do that at certain times or certain days of the week, but that would be an incentive for somebody to come in or to take an action that you're wanting them to take. And another example would be, first class free. This would apply more to a dance studio or like a performance art kind of facility. I've ran campaigns in the past, for example, with a local mechanic shop where we did a discounted oil change on certain days of the week where their traffic was low. So you want to make sure that the offer actually creates a sense of urgency. Now let's jump into an example. So in this situation, let's say that you're helping your family run their Mexican restaurant in New York City, and due to coronavirus, unfortunately, your traffic is down by 60% because people aren't allowed to actually come into the store. And you say, okay, our goal is to increase restaurant traffic. Let's say the conditions start to change and they allow restaurants to open back up, and you want to increase traffic to your restaurant. And you say, all right, I want to target males and females that are above 21 in the city of Manhattan. And my offer is I want to do like a Taco Tuesday deal. So I want to promote, if you buy a taco, you get a taco free. And in this situation, you do have a website. So in the next slide, we're going to jump into a little bit more details on the creative for this campaign. So in this example, we are going to go ahead and use a website traffic campaign objective, trying to push people to see our full menu. So because this is a simple buying decision, an offer such as a buy one, get one should be enough of an incentive to get people in. And when I say it's a simple buying decision, it's the criteria for this purchase is, do I like this kind of food, and is it convenient for me to go after it? And that alone can be, enough to push somebody into the actual location. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to open up Facebook Ads Manager, and we're going to actually walk through setting up this campaign from targeting to placements to your budgets and your dates. Okay, awesome. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to do a traffic campaign. So we're going to click on traffic, and this is going to optimize to drive the most amount of people to your website. So in this situation, we're going to assume that you cannot book online, for example. So we're just going to drive people to the menu page to try to get as many people to check out our menu and hopefully contact us. This is the ads that I've created. I have two examples here for you guys. So the first one is, and granted that we're in this whole coronavirus situation and haven't come out of it yet, unfortunately. So what I've done is I created two examples. I created the first ad with the goal of driving people into the physical location. So assuming that the coronavirus is done, people go into restaurants, we're trying to pick that traffic back up. And this one has an offer of buy one, get one Taco Tuesday. And essentially we're trying to get people to come into the actual location. Now I have another example here. It's the same images, but this one is the message is going to be different. This one, the message is going to be about ordering food for delivery. So this could be something that works during this pandemic, and we could easily A/B test that. So it's going to say, did someone say Taco Tuesday, buy one, get one on any tacos between 5 and 8 p.m. and get free delivery every Tuesday. And we're actually also going to call it out in the description. So we're going to run this as a traffic campaign to push people to the website. So now we're at the ad set screen where we're going to handle all of our targeting, our placements, and our budgets and our dates. So the first thing foremost is that we're going to make sure we're driving to website traffic. There's other places that you could drive traffic to, but for now, we're going to assume that this restaurant has a website with a menu page or a contact page, and that's where we're going to drive the user. We're going to skip dynamic creative. That's if you actually wanted to do dynamic testing of multiple ads, but we're not going to use that for this example. We're going to skip offer, and now we're going to go to location. So we said that this is in Manhattan, and there's actually a few different ways you could target. You can target the entire city, which I don't recommend. You can also target by zip code. Okay, cool. So we have this area. Let's assume your restaurant's right here and you're trying to really target the local traffic, so like the walking distance. So you could already see that there's 50,000 people that are in this audience segment with, no criteria set in. Now, obviously we want to do some detailed targeting. So we're going to say people that are ages 21 and let's just say through 54, just to make sure it's the most digital savvy people. So 39,000 people, still a sizable audience. And obviously, this is a very small area. You can obviously go broader and add more, more zip codes and broaden depending on how far people come to your actual business. If you're in a more rural area, you can potentially, go miles. Now, what I want to do is narrow this down a little bit further and start putting some interest around Mexican cuisine. And you're going to start to notice our audience is going to go down, but as we add some additional interests, we will increase that back up. So I'm going to Chipotle, if you like Chipotle, maybe you like our food. Then I'm just going to hit suggestions after I put a few of these, and I'm going to select anything that makes sense. So taco, yes. At this point, I feel like the audience is way too small. If it's to this size, I would say it's way too small. For localized campaigns, I probably wouldn't do anything under 20,000. So at this point, I'm gonna just add a few zip codes to broaden that audience. So I'm gonna add 121, and that's this area right here. And then I'm gonna see there's 165. So as someone that lives in New York City, I know that people, will go this distance, of course, to get some food. Now we're up to 14,000, so we're getting some progress. And I'm gonna add 175. Now, just because Times Square is a very popular area, and Times Square is actually like down here, I'm gonna avoid this because there's a lot of restaurants there. So I'm gonna try to get the local traffic, the local people here. Now I'm up to 15,000. I think we could probably do a little bit better. So let me bump this up to 65 plus, 17,000, okay. And let me see if I can just add a few more interests to get us to, boom, okay, 20,000. I'm happy with that. So one of the things is as your audience size gets smaller, it gets more expensive to advertise. The more people you have, the better the algorithm can determine who are the right people and give you the right cost. So you always want a balance of a decent audience size, but not something that's too big for your budget. If you're spending 15 bucks a day, 20 to 50,000 people is a good amount of a benchmark to kind of aim for, but I wouldn't go under 20,000 because then it gets very, very expensive. So now the next thing is, where are your ads going to show? I never let Facebook automatically determine, because then it'll show your ads everywhere, even in places that it doesn't perform good and in places where your ad is actually not going to look that great. So I'm going to remove audience network because that places ads outside of Facebook and Instagram and on third-party apps, and usually I don't see great performance there. And I am going to leave this ad to be specifically on Facebook and Instagram and on the feeds. So on the feeds as people are scrolling through. So I'm going to remove marketplace. I'm going to remove video feeds because this won't be a video. Right-hand column, because it's very small and people usually don't even really notice it there. I'll keep Instagram Explorer. So Instagram Explorer is for when people are using the Instagram app and they click on the search button and they go into the discover screen. I'm not going to use stories because this creative is not going to be properly formatted for stories, so it's not going to look well. And I'm not going to use in-stream because that's going to show within videos and I would need a video format. I'm not going to use search, and I am not going to use in article either. So I'm going to close this, and I can see I can still reach my 20,000 people with that. So I'm still fine. Now, it's going to tell you here that your ad is going to be optimized for link clicks. And you have the ability to go a step further and optimize for landing page views, meaning people that are not only going to click on your link, but they're also going to land on your website. And I would actually recommend to turn this on so your ads can optimize for those users, because there's a lot of users out there that click on links and they just exit before the website even loads. Now, there is certain use cases where it does make sense to use link clicks, but because we want people to land on our page and then consume some of our content so they're likely to come into the store, we want to do landing page views. Now, cost control is optional. We're not going to do anything here. We're going to leave that as is, and then we're going to leave our daily budget. I think we said $15 a day. So I would typically usually start and try to test something out for at least 2 weeks. So assuming we launch on Monday, April 6th, I would do the test until Sunday. And I usually like to launch the ads at about 7:30, 7 a.m., 7:30 in the morning. So you can benefit from greater amount of delivery when people are online. And I usually will end ads, depending on what time the restaurant closes, maybe because April 19th is a Sunday, maybe we'll do, 6 p.m. Now, this is a Taco Tuesday promotion. So a question you have to ask yourself is, do I want to promote this every day or just some days? Well, something really neat about Facebook that you can do is you can actually control your ads when they'll deliver. So you can actually go here and say, but that's right, we have to switch to a lifetime budget to do that. So if we switch to a lifetime budget, we can then control the days and the times that our ad shows. So if you're doing a Taco Tuesday promotion, are you going to be running your ad every single day? Maybe that doesn't make sense. Maybe what you want to do in that situation is say, all right, I have my $200 budget and I want to maximize my budget maybe on Tuesdays or Monday and Tuesday. So you can actually go here and set what time you want people to see your ad. So you could say, I would say basically anytime on Monday and then basically all day Tuesday before the promotion ends. So that could be one approach where you maximize your dollars against the days that it makes most sense. Obviously, if you're running a Taco Tuesday promotion and people are seeing this on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, they might forget by the time it comes around. So that's just something to keep in mind. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and hit continue. I'm gonna go to the following slide, and this is where we're gonna build our ad. So I wanna take you back to this. This is what our ad is gonna look like. And here I have two different versions of the ad, one with some copy, one without, and then it has the post text. So first and foremost, I'm just gonna click the post text. I don't actually have access to this ad account because it's or this page because it's a made up page. So for now, I'm just gonna use my name, but typically you would see your ad account here and you would see your Instagram handle here. So we wanna do a single image ad for this example. And first thing I'm gonna do is, because we're driving people to the menu, I'm gonna go ahead and paste the URL here. So Facebook.com, it's tits. Oops, did I just say that? Yeah, I did. Then we're gonna copy the headline. And the reason it says add another optional is because Facebook now has the capability to dynamically test multiple headlines, which is something I would recommend you do at a later time, not necessarily in your first flight. So we added the headline, now we're gonna add the description, and the only thing we're missing is our actual image. So I'm going to scroll back up here. I'm going to click on Add Media, Add Image. And I'm going to find this file on my desktop. So Las Fajitas. So we'll do this one first. And after we're done with this example, I'm going to give you guys another example, which is for a different way you could set this up using messengers with Messenger, which is extremely effective. And I've set up a campaign for a buddy of mine that's driving him leads every single month. Really effective, really helping them a lot. So I want you guys to understand the different ways that you can set up your Facebook campaigns for local store traffic, because different scenarios, different strategies are needed for different scenarios. So I'm giving you here a simple one, which is a restaurant. I'm hungry, I'm not hungry. You're giving me an offer, great, I'm coming in. But I also want to give you one for something more complex, like if you're an accountant, if you are a performance arts facility, or something that's just a little bit more complicated than this. So now you can start to see over here on our right-hand side, our ads are starting to look pretty complete. I'm just going to adjust. Cool. So what we're going to do here is change this call to action, and we're actually going to say, we're not booking, we're not doing contact, see menu. Great. So this is what our ad would look like. It would be a profile picture of your profile, of your business. It would be the name of your business. And it would say, did someone say Taco Tuesday? Buy one, get one on any tacos between 5 to 8 p.m. every Tuesday. And then over here it's gonna say, buy one, get one, Taco Tuesday, see the full menu. So this would be an example of an ad targeted against an audience designed to get them to actually come into the store. Now, right now, like I mentioned, we are in the coronavirus epidemic. So maybe right now you don't want to be driving foot traffic. So something you could consider is trying to push people to order something for delivery. So in this case, we would want to change the message, and you can actually test two different versions of this ad. You can build one and then create the next one. So in this case, we would want to do our buy one, get one, free delivery. And you might want to say, in this situation, Grubhub, oh shit, Grubhub or Uber Eats your tacos. That's actually too long, so I want to shorten that. One of the things is very important that your headline is digestible on one line so people can actually see it on mobile devices. So now this ad is a little bit different because also instead of driving them to your menu on your website, you can change this link and drive them to your menu on Grubhub.com or UberEats.com or wherever you have publicly available that information. Or you can take them to your website and then push them to delivery page from there. So in this situation, you're pushing people to order from you with an incentive, but you're doing it in context of the fact that people are staying home in this situation right now. So the point I'm trying to make is Facebook ads is pretty flexible. It's about how you create your message. As long as you have the audience identified and you have the incentive identified, you can kind of tweak it for different situations. So that said, I now want to jump into our next example. But before we jump into that example, I just wanted to share with you guys that for a limited time, I'm going to be doing one-on-one consultations for anybody that's trying to ramp up store traffic to their locations. If you're a small business owner in the US, abroad, it doesn't matter. If you're trying to use Facebook and Instagram ads, I'm gonna drop a link below in the description. And this is gonna be for a limited time because depending on my availability, I might no longer be available. Either way, I will always keep you guys updated in the description. So follow that link if you need a little assistance to build out these campaigns. Okay, so for the next example, we want to discuss a dance studio situation. And let's assume you're a professional, you have a dance studio or a performance art location, and you just open your fall registration and you have 30 slots that are open, and you're trying to get people to come in and sign up for these classes. So let's say you're going after kids and teens, specifically in Miami, Florida, and your offer is you're gonna give the first classes free. And let's just say you recently started up and you do not have a website, so that's not an option for you. So this is actually an ad I created for a buddy of mine in Miami who has a dance facility. And this is a direct response ad that's working really, really well. And it's optimized to push people to Messenger so that they can message for additional information. And I'm not sure if you guys know, but there's over 1 billion monthly active users globally on Messenger. Now, the reason that we decided to make this a message campaign, even though it was a localized traffic campaign, is because this is a very involved buying decision. It's not as simple as choosing a restaurant to eat, where you either say, I like this food, I don't like this food, and is it convenient? When we're running these kinds of campaigns, we started asking ourselves, is the kid gonna sign up? Are the teens gonna sign up, or are the parents? And we decided it was gonna be the parents. So then we said, well, do the parents want their kids to learn how to dance is the first question. Then do they have time to commit? Are they gonna find this expensive? How important is distance? And obviously another thing that parents would consider in their criteria is this age appropriate for my kid. So we said, hey, you know what? They're gonna have a lot of questions about this. So just pushing them to a website landing page might not really be effective. Also, in this situation, he didn't have a website. So he wasn't able to push them to a website. So we said, you know what? Let's do a messenger campaign where they can ask us these questions and we can communicate with them one-on-one and then push them to book. So before I show you in Ads Manager what that looks like, I actually want to give you the architecture of things. So the users are seeing these ads, they click on them and it opens up in their messenger. And of course that works because there's a good creative, there's a good video with the key offer, and it's targeted to the right audiences, which I'm going to show you in Ads Manager how I did that targeting. And then once the user initiates the conversation, Messenger, obviously they want this information, but what Messenger does is it allows either a chatbot to start the conversation, or you can take over. And at this point, obviously you can validate, give additional information, and even provide even a greater incentive. So if you notice in the video that I showed you before, there wasn't actually an offer. The offer comes in this experience when the person initiates the message. And then that's when my buddy says, hey, you know what, let's set up a free class so you can get, your son or your daughter can get their feet wet. And that's how we've been, successful at acquiring clients for them. So now I'm going to open up Facebook Ads Manager and I'm going to walk you through their targeting, their placements, their budgets, and their dates so that you can see, what this actually looks like within the platform. So the first thing here is that for this campaign, we used messages as our buying objective because we wanted to optimize the people that are most likely to actually open up a message on their Facebook Messenger. So I want to show you how we set up the targeting for this campaign, and I'm just going to open the ad set level where all that information is present. So first thing is, we decided that we wanted to target parents in Miami that were between 28 and 44 years old. So again, this is a local store traffic campaign. We know people aren't going to go too far. This campaign ran with a $150 budget, and we actually ended up driving us 8 really qualified leads. So what we did here is we targeted the local zip codes that were near, we used zip code and city targeting of the nearest cities that we thought people would drive from. And we targeted parents ages 28 to 55 who had kids, who had preteens from 9 to 12 years old, and then parents with teenagers 13 through 17. And that really was our core audience. Similar to what you saw before, we decided to only put these ads on the Facebook feeds where most of the people consume the content. So as you can see, the audience is on the lower side, which wasn't great, but we also knew that this was going to be a very targeted offer to a very specific audience. So we knew that we were potentially going to see that. And then lastly here, as you can see, the default optimization is for conversations. So now I want to show you guys the actual creative side of this campaign build. So it's pretty simple. We ended up actually shooting this video and producing it and we just came back here and set up a simple video ads campaign. But I actually not only just want to show you the ad, but I also want to show you what happens when the messenger is activated as well, if it lets us. So this is the actual video that I showed you guys. The primary text we said were, enrolling students ages 5+ for weekly breakdance classes. And we said only a few spots available, hurry and message us to schedule and for rates. And then our headline was Miami breakdance classes. It was very important for us to put the name Miami so they knew it was like local and it wasn't something, in another part of the state. And then you'll see here the call to action is send message. And within Facebook, you actually have a few different options for what happens when someone clicks the send message button. So you can basically start a conversation where when someone lands, there's a few pre-populated options like, what are your hours? Where's your location? Do you take deliveries? And you can have those options pre-populated on the screen. But there's also ways to set things up in a more advanced way where you can almost set up an automation, almost like a chat bot, that if someone asks a certain question, there's certain responses available for them to do. So it's pretty nimble how you can set up these message campaigns in Facebook. And again, the reason I'm giving you this example is because this is a more involved purchase decision. So if you're a local business and you have a more complex type of buy or service, just dropping someone on your website might not be that effective, and you might want to take advantage of Messenger to be able to personalize your communications at scale. Hey guys, there you have it. Once again, this is how you set up a Facebook local traffic campaign. I gave you a few different examples. Please remember that the most important things here is choosing the right objective, having a very defined and targetable audience, and then having some type of incentive that draws the customer to your actual physical store or location. Again, if you're interested in setting up a consultation for me to help you either with your strategy or execution of some of these campaigns, make sure to follow that link below in the description. Hey guys, pop quiz. Let's say you wanted to run a local store traffic campaign for your business, but you didn't have a website and you had a very complex service. Would you run a campaign with website traffic, or would you run a campaign against messages? If you think that you know the answer, make sure to comment below and let me know, and I will tell you if you're right. Hey guys, thanks so much for tuning in once again to Market and Hustle, where we simplify marketing so that you can accelerate your business growth. And if you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you learned something new. And until the next video, peace.